Hey guys, it's Mel again from the 441 and continuing my kind of astrology for basics taught by a basic or by a beginner series. I have got another oracle deck out and I'm going to talk to you guys today about the planets. Now, basic, beginner, hopefully I get everything right. So let's get into it. So today we are doing the planets, and like I said, I have another astrology deck here. I've got the Star Codes Astro Oracle by Heather Rowan Robbins, and the illustrations and cover are by Nick C. Welch and Lucas Lua de Saluza. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, so I'm sorry. Cards are stunning. And that's the back. They're stunning. So we will start in order with the sun. So we'll do the sun, the moon. If I get stuck, I've also got Pam Gregory's astrology book here just for reference. So the sun is energy. Sun gives us energy, gives us vitamin D, all of that. So sun gives us energy. It is male energy. So it's bold. It is the yang, the active energy. It's life force, it's enthusiasm, it is soul purpose, it's our power center, it's yellow. Our third chakra is yellow. Then we have the moon. So you can see the opposite. You got day and night, masculine and feminine energy. So the sun gives us energy. The moon represents our emotions, our feelings, all of that. It's yang, so yin and yang, which means it's more emotional as well. It's our daily rhythm. It's our sensitivities, all of that. It's home, it's Mother Nature. So they act opposites of each other. If you look at the video that I would have done last week, which I've just finished recording, hence why I'm wearing the same shirt, I talk more about the phases of the moon. I actually didn't start with this is what the moon is known for. I just went straight with the phases. But, I'm a beginner YouTuber. I'm allowed to make mistakes. So we get those two. By the way, I'm doing these in order. So you got the sun and the moon. And then after that, we've got Mercury. Now, Mercury is one that I know well. I think a lot of people know Mercury quite well because of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is the planet closest to the sun. It travels around the sun 3 times in a year. So it goes retrograde 3 times in a year. Mercury rules communication, travel, transportation, logistics, legal. Therefore, when we have issues when Mercury goes retrograde, you will find that there is issues with travel. There might be more accidents on the road. There might be delays with, planes, trains, automobiles, all that. You might have some breakdowns. Legal issues. If you're dealing with anything legal during Mercury retrograde, it's important to read the T's and C's 2 or 3 times. Personally, I try my best not to sign anything during Mercury retrograde. Logistics will go wrong, and there will be lots of miscommunication. But Mercury also invites us, when it goes retrograde, to slow down, to reset, and to really think about what it really is that we want to communicate with ourselves more. So that is Mercury. Then we have Venus. As you can tell by the description, it's very romantic looking. Venus is love, the planet of love, romance, contentment, self-evaluation, your sense of beauty with those beautiful roses, creativity, artistry, charm, to work together, to be gentle and grateful and love our creature comforts and all of that. Then we get the opposite of that again, because we have Mars. Mars is a planet of action and turbulence and energy and ambition and drive, and it's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's aggression. It can be sex drive, so it's funny again how they commingle, probably the female and the male energy. It can be forceful, it can be courageous, it can be pioneering a new path. So that's Mars. And we have Jupiter. Jupiter is probably one of my favorites, as you can tell by the card. And this is why I thought it might be a good idea to do this with this deck of cards and use the other deck of cards, because you get the visual, and straight away with all of these you can very quickly see what they represent. So Jupiter is all about abundance. It is one of our largest planets. So expansion, abundance, prosperity. If Jupiter and Mars, say for example, were opposite each other, you could have an increased risk of war, or increase in people trying to take on entrepreneurship or take on greater risks, etc. So Jupiter is great if you look for where it is in your chart. Again, this is the work of Pam Gregory, not of me. But if Jupiter was, and again, I'll take out her book that I have here. So if Jupiter was to fall in your new moon and in a certain house, it is a great time, say, to, if it fell in house 9, to focus more on travel. And you know that you might potentially be drawn to travel more, or it could be career. So you're going to get a pay rise or a new role or whatever, same with money and all of that. So that is Jupiter. Then we have Saturn. Now Saturn is the planet of structure. Saturn is limitation. It's old, it's blockages, it's delay, it's time, it's slow down, it's responsibility, being mature, controlled, hard work, burdens, fear. It can be endings. It's authority. It's the opposite of Uranus, which is the next planet. So anything that this guy does the opposite of it. And sometimes they butt heads. And sometimes this guy wins, and sometimes this guy wins. It all depends on where they are in their orbit. So yeah. So if Saturn rules top-down government, control, all of that, Uranus craves independence and doing things rebelliously and doing things its own way. Saturn is old. Uranus is young. It's power to the people, independence. It breaks the rules. Saturn loves controlling the rules and having the rules in place. Uranus likes to break them. It's honesty. It's, again, creativity. It's being original. It's being true to yourself and sticking true to your individuality. So that's these two. Prime example, going back to a couple of years ago when we had all the lockdowns, believe it or not, but every time we went into lockdown, and again, you can look up Pam Gregory for this stuff and maybe go back to those times and find her readings from those times, because she was like, we're going to have a conjunction between these two, which means they're button heads, and the orbit suggests that Saturn is in front, so it will take priority. And we're going to have lockdown because it was COVID time. We're going to have a lockdown. Saturn's controlling it. Government wants to lock us down for our health and our safety. Then and that happened 3 or 4 times. I know one was around Christmas and one was around Easter, but it happened. And then a year later or 6 months later, they butted heads again, but the orbit had changed and Uranus came out in front, and yes, they butted heads, but they decided we're not going to be locked down anymore, and maybe we'll reverse this and, you know, more freedom, control, freedom. So yeah, this is one of the things that kind of sparked my love of astrology, even though I still don't understand half of it, is the cosmic weather report, is knowing that, oh yeah, this is coming up, we probably will get a lockdown, so make sure you buy extra groceries and you allow that you'll be doing stuff at home for a while or whatever. So that is those two. I hope I'm keeping this pretty basic. Just try and keep them in order. Then we have Neptune and Pluto. Neptune was one that I actually didn't understand a whole lot about. I know it represents water, but apart from that, I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I had to do a little bit of research on this one before this video. It turns out that Neptune is the one that is all about meditation and inwardness and altered states. It also is unconditional love. It's healing, it's dreams, it's spirituality and idealism and telepathy and deception. So it can be mirrored, again, like smoke and mirrors, which is cool. It's cool because I didn't realize all it represented. All I remember from listening to the astrology was that if Neptune was in Pisces, there's potential for more rain and more flooding and all that sort of stuff. So it does control all of that as well. But it is your imagination and your inspiration. And then that brings us to Lucky Last. Now, I'm only dealing with the major planets. I know that we have other planets, but I'll leave that to the experts with the dwarf planets like Chiron and Circe. Maki. I know some of that stuff from, again, Pam, but I don't remember most of it, so I'm just going to stay away from that, which leaves us to Pluto. So Pluto, yes, it's now classed as a dwarf planet. Pluto's really cool. Pluto is the sign of death, rebirth, and the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. And right now, if you've noticed in the last couple of years that we've had so many people change so many things about their lives. We've had people start up businesses, people close businesses, people get divorced, people having more babies, people having moving country, bigger businesses getting shut down, banks being closed. All of that is because of this little tiny planet called Pluto. Pluto is currently moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. I think at the moment it's retrograded back into Capricorn. Or it's about to retrograde back into Capricorn. I know it's around this time. I'm not sure if it's in yet or if it's about to go in. But the interesting thing about Pluto, so it stays for 24 years, something like that. Should be 2008. 2008 was around the time that Pluto went into Capricorn. So 2008, so 2018, 2024. Maybe it's 14 years. I can't remember the exact. I think 14 years sounds about right. Anyway, when Pluto transitions from a sign, it shakes things up because it's death, rebirth, and transformation of that sign. Okay, so a prime example of Pluto, and when you know that Pluto is potentially up to something, 2008, Pluto transitioned from whatever is before Capricorn. Give me a second. Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn. So I moved from Sagittarius into Capricorn, and when it went into Capricorn was 2008, which was the big financial crash, and see how much business and banking has changed since then. It is now coming out of Capricorn. We've had a couple of months where it's been in Aquarius, and it's retrograded back into Capricorn for a couple of months, I think until December or January, and then it moves fully into Aquarius for the next, I don't know, maybe 14 years. I can't remember exactly what it is, but 2008 to now, 16 years. Yeah, 2008, 2018, and 6. So it must be around 15, 16 years of an orbit. But in that time, haven't we noticed towards the end that a lot of businesses are closing? There is some people starting new businesses. There's a lot more entrepreneurship starting to show up in the world. Sorry, my hair is driving me crazy. Entrepreneurship showing up in the world. People are going their own way. We're getting the shift into this, and this has got to do with Aquarius, but the shift into new technology, AI. It's also more farmers markets and everything. Like, we've had our local farmers market for 2-3 years, and it's awesome. It's power back to the people. So it's the structure going from like the big corporate companies like your Amazons and your eBays and your Googles and your, you know, Microsoft and Apple and all that. But we'll find this balance of, yeah, you know what? I don't want to get everything from Amazon, so I'm going to go to my farmer's market, or I'm going to support more local and all that, which is kind of needed and will be awesome. So that is the planets. I will do another video, couple of videos, maybe in a couple of weeks, on the houses and also the star signs. I do need to learn a bit more about both of those. Like, I know some star signs and what they represent, but not all 12 of them. Same with the houses. I've got notes in front of me here. So between this and this, I should be able to dash this out now. I'll just see how I'm doing for time. But I hope that this series is a nice kind of trajectory to astrology taught by a beginner, so that I keep the terms pretty basic and that it helps somebody out there understand more of why things happen in the world in the way that they do, because this gives you a deeper understanding to it. And everything is a cycle. The moon has a cycle, all these planets have a cycle, the astrology has a cycle, and the houses have a cycle. And maybe at the end of the next 2 videos, I can do a video of how it all comes together, because that's the bit I'm trying to figure out next. Okay, great. I know there's houses and I know the astrology moves in your houses, but how are your houses defined and how do they move? Because I know, for example, that, you know, number 1 might not necessarily mean Aries. It means arrival. So you arrive in the planet of Aries, and the second house is your resource and all of that. So I need to understand that communication between the two. All right, guys, I am going to cut that off there. Again, another 20-minute video. So I hope that helps somebody. Maybe you want to tell me what your favorite planet is, and why. And if there's anything else you would like me to film, please let me know down below in the comments, and I will catch you in the next video. Again, I will let you know the book that I've been using to reference, and the tarot cards that the oracle cards I've been using as reference in the description, so that if you guys want to get them, you can. And I am not set up as like an Amazon person. That's actually one thing I'm very hesitant to do. I don't know if I want to become like a Amazon associate, because I want to support other businesses. So if anybody does know of a way on YouTube or Instagram or whatever to be able to link to products and get a small commission, but it goes to more independent people, and it's available worldwide, because I do know I have people in Ireland, America and Australia as the main people that watch my channel, but obviously there is other countries as well. So yeah, it's trying to find a way to make stuff available for people that's easy to purchase, so that when I do send a link, they can click and buy it straight away if they want. It is also giving me a tiny bit of cashola to keep producing and to keep bettering my content when I do set it up. Yeah, keep me in oracle cards. I'll just keep buying all the oracle cards. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off before I start waffling, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.